end-to-end, Johnny Flynn and the Minnesota Timberwolves go up against the Toronto Raptors. Timberwolves, Raptors, coming up next.
The Timberwolves are out of Minnesota and into an interconference game. At the Air Canada Center, the Raptors expect to use that home court advantage. With Clark Kellogg doing the analysis, this is Kevin Harlan for 2K Sports in our broadcast of the NBA. And checking out Minnesota's opening lineup. Michael Beasley and Kevin Love at the 4 and 5. Flynn and Brewer on the backcourt, and Johnson. And for Toronto, Jack and Derozan are the backcourt pair. Amir Johnson is out there with Bargnani and Glazer. And Clark for Minnesota, a dismal road record for this team a season ago.
Yeah, you can't describe 5 road wins any differently than that, Kevin. Most years, if you have a record that poor, you end up with a very nice lottery pick.
And Toronto has possession. And it's Johnson picking him up. Here's Derozan, all alone. The rebound by Johnson. And back to the Wolves' road struggles. What was the cause of their issues, you think?
Well, we've talked about it a number of times before. Youth. It's hard for inexperienced teams, even when they're talented, to understand what it takes to win on the road consistently.
A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Yes, thank you, Kevin. I was able to talk with Jay Triano for just a moment. I asked him what word would best describe their defense, and he replied, intimidation. He thinks their length and capacity to block shots makes teams think twice about bringing the ball inside against them. That should certainly work to their advantage today, guys.
Thanks, Doris. So defense is the key early on.
You know, it's not surprising, Kevin, when you think about the great team. So much of their game planning really starts at the defensive end of the floor.
DeMar DeRozan in his second season. Clark out of Los Angeles. He went to USC for 1 year, and he was taken number 9 by the Toronto Raptors.
And you know what, Kevin? I was really impressed by this young man's composure. You know, he was one of the youngest players in the league last season after only playing the 1 year at USC, as you indicated. And this guy never seemed to get rattled. He always seemed to be playing within himself, and that's a valuable attribute to have as a young player. That bodes well for him going forward because he's a dynamic athlete.
The Raptors making a switch here. Barbosa's checked in. Luke Riddenauer's checked in for the Timberwolves. Here's Bargnani, and the Raptors miss again.
That's not something you'll see very often. Got the mid-range jumper he wanted, but off target.
Flynn, the shot misses, and Toronto the other way. Here's Jack, and it's Johnson picking him up. Tipped.
Great reflexes. He pounced on that one.
Riddenauer with it. Beasley the screen. Kicks to Beasley.
The interior D was lurking on that
one. Barbosa against Johnson. Jack for 3. Riddenauer is on it.
Starting this game, nothing's going down for him.
It's a pick by Love. Here's Flynn, and a 3. Flynn's got his first 3 points of the game. Here's Jack, covered by Flynn. Here's Barbosa. He's off from 3.
They just are having all kinds of problems getting the ball to fall to start this game.
Down low. Covered by Flynn. To the wing. DeRozan over Beasley, and it's DeRozan missing. 2:26 left in the first. These Raptors, Clark, they couldn't sneak into the playoffs at the end of last season. They were right there, were in prime position, but they just could not finish the deal.
And you know, Chris Bosh called out the team's effort down the stretch. He just wasn't pleased at all with the lack of intensity that they played those games with.
Here is Riddenauer. Backing him down is Johnson.
It's been a tough quarter right now. They can't seem to get into any kind of rhythm or flow.
And Derozan throws it down hard.
Good job of leading his man right to the rim for the bucket.
And no problem at the line here for the three-point play. Well, most of the Eastern Conference teams struggled against the West, and the Raptors were no different.
Yeah, Kevin, they're only 11 and 19 in interconference matchups, and certainly that hurt them. That's a record that you want to try to get around 500 or better.
Shoots from the corner. Ridenour's shot is off. It's 2-on-1. Picked up by Flynn.
He's usually automatic from that close. The defense must have affected him.
And Clark, what makes the Western Conference so different?
Well, you always start with really good players, which leads to having really good teams out there. The Eastern Conference teams actually have it easier from a travel standpoint going west, so you certainly can't look at that as a problem.
Here's Jack. Here's Barbosa. Ridenour knocks it away. Now let's check in with the third member of our crew, Doris Burke. Doris?
Hey, Kevin, the Wolves were bringing Kevin Love off the bench last season. He didn't seem to be happy about it, but said, it's not necessarily about starting. I just want to know what their plans are for me and what I mean to the team. I plan to work my tail off in the summer to prove to the organization what I can do. It sounds like he's taking the right attitude, guys, and you'll have to like his competitiveness.
Well, he's now starting. They seem to have handed him the keys. Thank you, Doris.
Looks like they switched to man, D, here.
Off to the right, but it still falls. Ridenour's got his first basket. Toronto trailing. It's Leandro Barbosa on the wing. Love against Bargnani. It's dumped off. Here's Derozan. Ridenour grabs it.
Once he gets it inside, Kevin, he's really a good finisher. That's a good effort defensively to force the miss.
With 2 seconds left, here's Beasley, and he makes it look so easy, laying it right in.
That's too easy. He's got to get to him about 8 feet further out.
So both teams going at it here early as we end the first. Timberwolves lead by... Close game here at the start of the second quarter of play. Here is Flynn. Jack and Derozan are the backcourt pair. Amir Johnson is out there with Barbosa and Bargnani. That's the group for Toronto to start the second quarter. Raptors trail by 3. Clark, Johnny Flynn out of Syracuse, a spark plug of a point guard.
Yeah, he plays with so much heart and enthusiasm, and he's a dynamic athlete as well. As a matter of fact, Al Jefferson said he's a giant inside of a small body.
With the floater, and it's Derozan missing. Now the Timberwolves with it. It's a three-point game. Here's Webster. And he makes the basket, so one free throw coming up as he'll try to make it a three-point play. Flynn mostly played a pick-and-roll two-man game in Syracuse.
Yeah, in Minnesota, he's been asked, Kevin, to run a more flowing triangle offense. It's been an adjustment for him, but he's got the kind of character to where he's going to try to work through it.
He's a tough kid.
Yeah, he's got a winning attitude as well.
Timberwolves leading by 4. And here is Ridenour. Easy shot. No good. And Toronto the other way. Pass to Johnson. Kept alive. And he gets the bucket. Foul is called. One free throw for him.
That's great hustle there, Kevin. Persistence paid.
And he makes the free throw. The Raptors didn't make the playoffs last season, but more than held their own at home.
Yeah, 25 up and 16 down. That was the 6th best home record in the East. The high-scoring offense combined with support of those rabid fans made them a tough out at home. They've got to get better on the road.
Here's Bargnani. Nails the triple. Bargnani's got 6.
He's got major range, partner. You don't expect a big man to exhibit that kind of three-point shooting ability.
Here's Milicic. Scooped up. Here's Ridnour, defended by Jack. Tolliver, that's good. And it's Ridnour picking up the assist. And the Timberwolves lead by 1. Now Derozan. Bargnani with the ball. Rebounded. Here's Kleza. That falls in on the layup coming off the feed.
Again, they retake the lead. Incredible momentum swing. Neither team wants to give an inch.
To the middle. Goes up. And that's floated right up and in.
You can't let guys get so close to the hoop like that. You got to bump them and chunk them a little bit as they come through the paint. Make them feel you.
And here's Bargnani. Here's Derozan. Just 4 to shoot. 3 on the clock. Can't get it to go. And Minnesota the other way now. Ridnour passes to Webster. That's good. And it's Ridnour picking up the assist. 6 points for him.
They're going for the jugular with the lead here. I mean, they've increased the number of outside shot attempts. They're looking to bury him with the 3.
Kleza. Webster covering. No good. And Minnesota the other way now. 1:26 left in the second. And so they go with the intentional foul here.
Yeah, that's a head scratcher to me. Was that a frustration foul, an angry foul? I guess the other team was getting under his skin a little bit.
The Timberwolves making a switch here. Flynn's checked in. So timeout called here, the first for Toronto. The Raptors making a switch here. Barbosa's checked in. Minnesota also making some changes. Love's checked in. Here's Flynn. Defended by Jack. Dunks it in, and the foul. What a play. That's going to be on Jarrett Jack.
Boy, that's a superb job of maintaining concentration after contact.
Here's Barbosa, and the Raptors miss again.
And they're getting it done on the glass today, Kevin.
Nice advantage here on the inside. Now Webster. He has 6. Three-pointer Ellington. Derozan inhales it. Here's Barbosa.
Oh! He has the ability to turn every dunk into something special. And that's exactly what he did.
Well, even when you're waiting for a jam like that, it still pulls you away.
Yeah, it's special.
Leandro Barbosa with the rebound.
You know, with loose defense like that, you would expect him to knock it down most of the time.
Now Jack, he dumps it off. Here's Derozan. He's got 5. And it's off. Questionable decision-making there.
They'll probably hold for the last shot here.
Here's Flynn. Jack gets the board inside. The shot, no good.
Well, the defense has been causing a lot of rush shots here. They're really doing an outstanding job. Everybody's on the same page. It's 5 guys out there working together.
And so we wrap up the first half.
Well, Johnny Flynn in this one, he's got 6 points, then he's buried 1 3-pointer in the course of this game.
We'll be back shortly live from the Air Canada Centre in downtown Toronto.
And it's HP at the half with an excellent game going on out at Air Canada Center. The Minnesota Timberwolves have the lead against Toronto. They're getting a ton of points from their bench players, a big injection of energy. And that's it for now as we send you back.
And as the quarter begins, both teams have been trading blows like prize fighters. A close ball game. On the court for Minnesota, Anthony Tolliver out there with Webster. Then there's Johnny Flynn. Then there's Kevin Love and Ellington. Cannot hit. Now the Raptors take it the other way. From deep three-point range, Barbosa's shot is off.
That's poor shot selection, Kev. He shouldn't even be thinking about casting it up from there.
Here's Love. They rule this one. Goaltending. Count the shot.
Speed is only part of the equation here. He's not blinding quick, but he was determined to take that one to the rim.
You know, he missed the start of the season with a broken hand, but after returning, Kevin Love put forth what many people think Clark was an all-star caliber production.
Well, he was so consistent as a rebounder, actually the best rebounding power forward in the game when you look at the numbers, and he's an excellent scorer as well and a passer. I think he's going to be a guy who averages a double-double pretty much throughout his career.
Flynn the pass to Webster. Stolen away.
Well, they still have the lead, but they really need to collect themselves and start taking care of the ball.
Here's Flynn. He has 6. And it does look like turnovers will be a theme here.
Without question, Kevin. Let's see if they can squeeze the orange and hold it together. They've got to do a much better job of taking care of the ball.
And the basket by Webster.
Nice screen to set up the J. Excellent offensive execution right there.
Now Derozan. He has 7. Stuffs it in.
Does he make it look easy or what, partner? Trust me, that's not easy.
Oh, I know it. I think he could climb over the backboard if he wanted to. Nice job at the line, and that one falls to pick up the and one. Timberwolves leading by 4. Tolliver sets a pick. Flynn with it. Tolliver hits the tray. He has 6.
We've seen them make 3 of their first 4 shots. That's good shooting to jumpstart them here.
Here's Derozan. 10 points for him.
Who's watching him?
Bargnani kicks to Johnson. Stripped away. And Minnesota has possession. 7-point differential. Deflects the pass. So the Timberwolves called their first timeout. Here is Love. 7-point differential. Defended by Bargnani. Puts the move on. Takes it up. Love can't hit.
Outstanding job there to contest the shot and grab the miss. That's how you play defense.
Now let's go to Doris Burke. Doris.
Kevin, the salary cap and its mathematics can result in some interesting trades. And this season we saw the Miami Heat trade away Michael Beasley, the number 2 overall pick in the 2008 draft, to the Timberwolves for just a second-round pick. The Heat needed to clear cap space, so the Wolves ended up with a tremendous young talent almost for free. Beasley's focus on the floor has come into question, but nevertheless, he's still young with a tremendous amount of potential. Can he live up to that potential is the question, guys.
Let's hope so. Thanks, Doris. Timberwolves leading by 5. Flynn with it. Slams it through.
He's got big-time hops.
He's not afraid to take it into the big man country every once in a while. Here's Derozan. Rebound Love.
Well, he doesn't have the softest touch. And with the D right in his face, that made all the difference. Boy, when you run the fast break correctly, it's a thing of beauty.
Here's Toronto. They trail by 9 points. Here's Bargnani. Buries the triple. Bargnani's got 9. And the Timberwolves call time here. Here's Flynn. He's got 8. 56 seconds left in the third. Here's Love. The steal.
They certainly haven't been very good here in the quarter in regards to protecting the ball, Kevin.
Great anticipation. They can make this a 2-for-1 opportunity. Here's Webster, covered by Barbosa. For 3. Love can't hit. Raptors trail by 6. Now Derozan. 12 points for him. And here's Bargnani. Johnson, the pass to Barbosa. 2 on the clock, and it's Derozan missing. Ellington from outside. Can't connect. And the third quarter is over, and a good finish looks to be in store for all of us. The fourth quarter just moments away now as we welcome you back. Here's Jack. Jack and Derozan are the backcourt pair. Bargnani is out there with Amir Johnson and Barbosa on the court for Toronto to start the fourth. And he knocks down the first one. And that one goes in. 2 from the line that time. Here's Flynn. Defended by Jack. Throws it up. Blocked. Raptors trail by 4. To the inside. Barbosa's shot is off.
You got to expect more out of him here. He's had a lot of difficulty this quarter, which in turn is making it difficult for them to cut into this deficit at all.
Here's Flynn. Dumps it off. Here's Webster, covered by Barbosa. And here's Love. Just 5 on the clock. Leandro Barbosa with the rebound. Here's Derozan. That one is good on the lay-in.
He clearly had the speed advantage there, and he used it to burn the D for the sweet hoop. Nice play.
3-pointer Ellington. That's good. And the Timberwolves lead by 5.
Some players really look for the three-point shot in transition. It's one of the best times to shoot it. You have to be a sharpshooter, though, and of course, he is.
And again, Toronto with the triple.
That's a good job going right back at him with the 3 of their own.
Outside Flynn. Goes up. Connects from in close. Here's Jack. About 3.5 minutes left in the fourth. Got a piece of it. Timberwolves leading by 4. Barbosa hits the reach-in call. That's his first foul. Minnesota calls timeout. And let's get this update now from Doris Burke, who's across the way on the sideline.
Kevin, I was able to listen in on what Kurt Rambis had to say to the team. He said, "We've got them right where we want them, fellas. Now we can't let them hang around. We'll see if they can bury their opponent, guys."
And thank you, Doris. Here's Derozan. Barbosa. Again, Toronto.
Way to distribute the basketball.
Here's Flynn. Wallace with it. Bargnani on him. Puts up the baby hook. The shot's good from Love.
Despite his ineffectiveness, the team has found other scoring options, which you have to have when one of your main guys is struggling.
And Toronto turns it over.
The line's there for a reason, young fella. Stay in the game.
Here's Flynn. 2:22 left in the game. Off the screen.
Oh! That's good execution there. I mean, use that screen to give yourself an alley to the basket.
Right, and they use it well. It's reading what's ahead of you.
Yeah, nice.
Here's Jack. Picked up by Flynn. Jack's shot is good.
They're trying to stir things up to make something happen. They've switched their D to full court press.
Tolliver drops.
A great look ahead up court to set up the easy, fast break finish.
Raptors trail by 6. Bargnani, he's guarded by Love. Johnson takes it up. It's blocked.
So far today, they're showing a little more effort and hustle. They've got a small advantage on the glass right now.
Here's Love. That's good from down low. And the Timberwolves lead by 8. Not a lot of time left for the Raptors in this one. 8-point game. Now Barbosa. Derozan. Back to Barbosa. From 11 feet away. And it's Derozan missing. And so here is Minnesota. Here's Webster. Blocked. Here's Toronto. Trailing here by 8. Jack with it. Kept alive. And here is Barbosa. And the Raptors miss again.
He's had some problems finding the range here in this quarter.
Jack is whistled for reaching in. That's his 4th foul of the contest.
That's a really tough call for him right there. He's got to be extra careful now. He tried to add a little flavor to that one. Maybe was thinking about the highlight reel, but then he missed the shot.
Here's Derozan. And the Raptors miss again.
Decent look there, but not for him. He's been struggling all game long.
Webster can't get the bucket. And it's the Raptors ball. From deep. No good from Jack.
You know, he can sink it from out there. It didn't happen that time, but at least it's in the back of the defense's mind that he will let it fly from there. Solid double-digit lead. Looks like now they'll just coast to the finish line.
The 3. Barbosa's shot is off. Now Love.